In 1946, a small town on the Texas-Arkansas border became a hunting ground. Couples parked in the moonlight, whispering sweet nothings, unaware that a predator watched from the shadows. Over 10 weeks, he killed 5, injured 3, and vanished, leaving a trail of terror that haunts Texarkana to this day. They called him the Phantom Killer, a ghost in the night whose identity remains one of America's darkest secrets. What drove this monster, and why has he never been caught? Join us as we unravel a mystery that will chill you to the bone. Between February and May 1946, Texarkana, a town straddling the Texas-Arkansas border, was gripped by fear. A serial killer, dubbed the Phantom Killer, targeted young couples in secluded areas, striking under the cover of darkness. 5 people were murdered, 3 others survived his brutal attacks, and the town's innocence was shattered. Despite one of the largest manhunts in Texas history, the killer slipped away, leaving behind a legacy of terror and unanswered questions. To this day, the Texarkana Moonlight Murders remain unsolved. Texarkana in 1946 was a quiet, post-war community of 20,000, a place where life revolved around church socials and Friday night dates. But beneath its idyllic surface, darkness loomed. On February 22nd, the terror began. Jimmy Hollis, 25, and Mary Jean Larry, 19, were parked on a lover's lane when a man in a white sack mask with eye holes attacked. He beat Hollis with a pipe, assaulted Larry, and fled, leaving them alive but traumatized. 3 weeks later, on March 24th, Richard Griffin, 29, and Polly Ann Moore, 17, weren't so lucky. Found dead in their car, both shot with a .32 Colt. Their bodies bore signs of a sadistic killer. On April 14th, Paul Martin, 16, and Betty Jo Booker, 15, were targeted after a dance. Martin was shot 4 times. Booker was assaulted and shot, her body dumped miles away. The final attack came on May 3rd at the Starks farmhouse. Virgil Starks, 37, was shot through a window. His wife, Katie, 36, survived despite 2 bullets to the face. Each crime was marked by precision and cruelty, the killer striking every 3 weeks under moonlight. Locals lived in dread, calling him the Phantom Killer, a ghost who left no trace. The Texarkana murders sparked a massive manhunt. Sheriff W.E. Presley and Texas Ranger M.T. Lone Wolf Gonzalez led the effort, bringing in over 200 officers. They found tire tracks and footprints at the scenes, but no fingerprints tied to a suspect. The killer's weapon, a .32 Colt revolver, was traced to local pawn shops, yet no sales matched. Witnesses described a tall, masked man, possibly 6 feet, but descriptions varied. Suspicion fell on U.L. Swinney, a 29-year-old petty thief with a violent history. His wife, Peggy, claimed he confessed to her, but she later recanted, and Swinney had an alibi for the Starks murder. Without hard evidence, he was never charged for the killings, though he was jailed for car theft in 1947. By June 1946, the attacks stopped as mysteriously as they began, leaving investigators like Gonzalez haunted. He once said, "This killer is the luckiest I've ever seen, or the smartest." The case went cold, but the fear lingered. The case remained dormant for decades, but in 1999, the Texas Rangers reopened it, hoping modern forensics would solve the puzzle. DNA evidence from the Starks murder scene was tested, but it was too degraded for a match. In 2010, a retired detective, James Presley, published The Phantom Killer, claiming Swinney was the culprit based on circumstantial evidence, like his proximity to the crime scenes and his wife's initial confession. Yet no definitive proof emerged. In 2014, a cold case unit analyzed a latent fingerprint from Booker's saxophone case, found near her body, but it didn't match Swinney or any known criminal in the database. Some amateur sleuths on platforms like X suggested a military connection, noting Texarkana's proximity to Red River Army Depot. But this led nowhere. The Phantom Killer's mask, his motives, and his fate remain a void, a puzzle that taunts every investigator who dares to touch it. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders left a scar on the community. In 1946, the town became a fortress. Residents bought guns, nailed windows shut, and avoided going out after dark. Businesses sold out of locks, and parents forbade teens from dating. The local newspaper, the Texarkana Gazette, ran daily updates, dubbing the case the Moonlight Murders, a name that stuck. The 1976 film, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, dramatized the killings, cementing the Phantom Killer's legend, though locals criticized its inaccuracies. Decades later, the case inspired true crime podcasts like Morbid and annual screenings of the film in Texarkana, keeping the terror alive. Survivors like Katie Starks lived with trauma, while families of the victims, like Betty Jo Booker's sister, never found closure. The murders reshaped Texarkana's identity, turning a quiet town into a symbol of fear and mystery. Who was the Phantom Killer? Was it U.L. Swinney, a career criminal with a violent streak? Or did he merely confess to gain notoriety? Some believe he was a drifter, passing through Texarkana, while others point to a military connection, perhaps a soldier from the nearby Red River Army Depot, trained in precision and stealth. A darker theory suggests a copycat killer, inspired by earlier unsolved murders in the region. The white sack mask, the 3-week intervals, the lack of fingerprints, it all points to a meticulous mind, someone who knew how to disappear. The Texas Rangers still classify the case as open, hoping for a DNA breakthrough. In Texarkana, the moonlight still casts long shadows, and the Phantom Killer's name is whispered with dread. Did he die, or is he still out there, watching from the darkness? The truth remains as elusive as a ghost. We may never know, but the terror he left behind will never fade. So, what do you think happened in Texarkana in 1946? Was the Phantom Killer a local criminal like U.L. Swinney, a trained soldier, or something even more sinister? Share your theories in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If this chilling mystery kept you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more unsolved cases that will leave you questioning. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Let's uncover the truth together.